Plaintiff Desiree Rodriguez says she was kicked out of her home at age 13 after she got pregnant. So she was forced to raise her baby in foster care. Desiree claims she became a cosmetologist and started getting her life together, and she and the defendant were friends. But she's suing him today for stolen property. Defendant Eric Santamaria says Desiree is actually a stripper, and that's how the two of them met. Eric insists he never stole anything from Desiree, and he's countersuing her for harassment.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, so I want to start by saying that I had a really rough childhood. I grew up in foster care. I was pregnant at 13. I had my daughter at 14.
You grew up as of what age in foster care?
When I got pregnant at 13.
Okay. Why did you go to foster care at that point?
Because my mom felt that I was too young to have a baby, which I agree. But she didn't want me to have the baby, and I didn't want to, have an abortion. So therefore, she said if I was gonna be woman enough to have a baby, then I can go live on my own.
Okay.
So from then, I just went to different group homes all the time. I was pregnant. It was tough, and I didn't really have much. And the little that I did have would always get stolen, just from girls going through my stuff or just moving around, things would get lost. And so that's what upsets me.
And you had the child with you during this time?
Well, I was pregnant. And then when I had her, I got sent to a different, a mother-baby program.
Mm-hmm.
So I lived with my daughter in foster care. And it was tough because I was still in school and, I was having to still study and do homework and, take care of her at the same time. And it was
How many years did you have to do that?
So I did that for the first year of her life. And then it just got really rough for me. So
After the first year, what happened?
So her grandma ended up taking custody, her grandma on her dad's side. She just felt it was in all of our best interests.
So how long did you have her personally?
For a year.
For 1 year, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that was in what year?
That was in 2010.
All right.
Yeah.
And where's your daughter now?
So me and her grandma now share partial custody. So she has her on the weekdays and I have her on weekends.
Why do you have to have partial custody?
Well, because I work a lot, and right now my daughter she's a little out of control. She's getting expelled from school. She got expelled from 2 schools already.
At 11 or 12?
She's 12, yeah. And she's just acting up. She's not listening. She's not wanting to do her work. She's fighting. And
have you all taken her to check it out?
Yeah, so she's in therapy. She's gone through 4 different therapists, and it's taken her a while to feel comfortable with a certain therapist that she feels like she can open up to. Mm-hmm. And so right now the therapist that she has is working with her, and it seems to really be helping. She's doing home studies right now. So, since I work and her grandma works, we just switch off certain days for what works best for us. And we're both, just trying to work with her and try to get her to...
And you're doing what you're supposed to do, and I congratulate you on that, because most parents don't know what to do with an incorrigible child, meaning a child that is always disobedient and won't listen. That's incorrigibility. And to that extent, I'm glad that you went and got it, because many kids, their parents neglect to do it either because they're uninformed, that that's what should happen, or a lack of resources to do it. I don't know, you need cash money or an insurance one, for many reasons. So congratulations on doing the right thing.
Thank you.
And that's important. Get the child therapy, because it could be more than just environmental and social. It could be chemical imbalance there. And chemical imbalance requires medication. Mm-hmm. So keep checking it out. I don't advise medication until a doctor advises. And if you have a second thought about that, go to another doctor and say, this doctor says my child needs medication. I don't like the idea, like many parents don't.
Yeah.
So you tell me what you think. Now, if 2 doctors tell you that, yeah, go with it. All right, but hopefully it's just the social environment and she can change just without having to go through any further.
Yeah, it's a process. We're working on it though.
Good.
So I had met Eric about 4 to 5 years ago. I was going through a tough time. I was living in hotels. I was in extended foster care.
What year was that?
Oh, I don't.
You said 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah. So like
27.
I'm 60. Why y'all think that? What?
I think it was about 2017.
I was thinking, like 2017, 2018, somewhere around there.
Go ahead.
Okay,
all right. So you all met or began dating, or it's the first time you met?
Okay, that was the first time we met. I was in extended foster care until I was 21. So, they were like providing, money for me to like get hotels and stuff like that. And so I was living in hotels. I didn't have a car. I had my dog with me, and it was just a hard time. So I was walking my dog one day, and Eric came up and started talking to me. So we were conversing for a little bit. He seemed cool. He wanted my number, but I gave him my social media instead. Because I just didn't feel like if he was like blowing me up, then I wouldn't have to like answer. So when he messaged me, I realized that he had been in my DMs. Like he was sending me like a bunch of DMs like previously, and I just had never opened them. But overall, he was pretty cool. We got along. I didn't really have much of a support system, so he was helping me out a lot. As far as like transportation, he would let me use his car while he was at work. Just acting up. She's not listening. She's not wanting to do her work. She's fighting. And
have you all taken her to check it out?
Yeah, so she's in therapy. She's gone through like 4 different therapists, and it's taken her a while to like, feel comfortable with a certain therapist.
And you're doing what you're supposed to do, and I congratulate you on that, because most parents don't know what to do.
Plaintiff Desiree Rodriguez says after growing up in foster care, she became a cosmetologist. But the defendant insists Desiree is a stripper.
Let me get some background from you, sir.
So Desiree ain't telling the whole truth. I met Desiree. Desiree is a stripper in San Jose. She dances that night. That's how we met. She's a good person. My schedule at the time, I'm a 9 to 5 kind of guy. So when I was going to sleep, she was waking up. I have my situation. We're just friends, nothing too serious,
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had finally got on my feet. I got an apartment. I got a car, and so
How'd you do that?
So my grandma, her apartment that she was living in, she actually got sick.
No, how you pay for it?
Oh, with the foster care money and my job.
Okay, and you're still on extended foster care?
Yeah, well, no, it's not the extended. So it was a grant that had got given to them. So I went to school for cosmetology. I did a little bit of business, but my main thing is like doing hair, makeup, nails, learning how to do tattoos.
So that's how you support yourself now?
Yeah.
And have been?
Yeah.
So what happened with him?
So, okay, so I had finally got my place, I got a car, and I had wanted to take Eric out to eat, because there was always, him like picking me up and stuff, and I wanted us to go out and eat, and I was just happy, that I got myself on my feet. So I go pick him up. We're supposed to go get tacos. It was pretty late, but there's usually like taco places open in downtown San Jose. So we're looking for one, and we couldn't find one that was open that night. So he tells me to go down like a certain street that I know there's usually a lot of cops, and I had a warrant at the time. I had a warrant for a DUI, and a cop pulled up behind me for my windows being too dark. They were tinted. So I tell him, like, I'm getting pulled over right now and I have a warrant. I'm going to go to jail. He's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, pull over. I'm not going to take them on a high speed or anything. So I pull over into a Denny's. The cop approaches me, asks me for, all my registration stuff. So, we do that. And then he says that he's not able to just, like, cite me out because the bond was too high. So he had to take me in. So he asks me if I trust Eric to take my car, because if not, if I left it there, it was going to get towed. I didn't want my car to get towed. So I'm like, okay. So I tell Eric, you need to take my car to my friend's house and give him my keys. And I tell him, like, take my car straight there, give him my keys, because my dog's at the house, you know what I mean? And I didn't know how long I was going to be in jail for. So I go to jail. I end up being in there for like 6 days, and I get out, and my friend picks me up in my car, and we go to his house, and then he goes upstairs, and I tell him.
Why didn't he come back and get you in your car?
Because he had dropped it off at my friend's house. Well, I mean, he was supposed to drop it off at my friend's house like that same night. But I'm in jail for like 6 days, so I had no idea if he had even did that. Like, I didn't even have his number to like call and make sure that he did or anything.
You never had his number?
No, I didn't memorize it. So when I was in jail, like I didn't, cause it's in my phone. So you know, like when a number's in your phone, you just call. So basically, I was in jail for those 6 days. I didn't know if he took my car that same night or not.
They wouldn't give you a bond for 6 days?
No, okay, so basically I had court the next day. I went to court, and then they had said that there was a hold on me from a different county. But what...
For a different charge?
No, okay, so what had happened is that my DUI happened in a different city than San Jose, and I had went to court in San Jose, but for some reason they didn't, I guess, let the court know in the city where I had gotten my DUI. So it had still came up that I had a hold with them.
So what happened with the car?
Okay, so my friend picks me up in my car. You know, he goes upstairs. I tell him to give me a second. I'm gonna go in my trunk and grab some clothes so I can go inside and shower and stuff. I had just moved into my place, so I had a bunch of clothes and stuff in my trunk. I had like duffel bags. I had stuff that I had just bought in like that day before I had picked them up. So when I go in my trunk, like my trunk's pretty much empty. Like my bags are in there, but it's not full. Like my clothes were missing, and I start looking through them, and I'm like confused because I'm like wondering where my stuff is or what happened. And then when I looked into my bags, there's like someone else's lingerie in my bags. Like there was
someone put their lingerie.
Yeah, like they took mine and put theirs in there, and I was like,
oh, took yours as well?
Yeah, like took my lingerie and then like switched it out. And I'm like, what the heck? Like whose lingerie is this? Like that's nasty. So then I call my friend, I'm like, is there anything you want to tell me? Like, did you let anybody use my car? Or, you know, he's like, no, I haven't touched your car since Eric dropped it off. And I'm like, okay. So I call Eric, and I'm like, Eric, did you take my car that same night? And he's like, no, it was late. I was tired. So I took your car home and I parked it. And then the next day I dropped it off.
Okay. So he didn't do what you asked him to do with your car.
Exactly. Wondering where my stuff is or what happened. And then when I looked into my bags, there's like someone else's lingerie in my bags. Like there was
someone put their lingerie.
Yeah, like they took mine and put theirs in there. And I was like,
oh, took yours as well?
Yeah, like took my lingerie and then like switched it out.
Plaintiff Desiree Rodriguez says after growing up in foster care, she became a cosmetologist. But the defendant insists Desiree is a stripper.
All right, let me hear from you, sir.
It was about 3 a.m. when this happened. By the time I got the car in my possession, it was like 4 a.m. She lives in the gated community. I would have had to hop a fence to get the keys to the door of the gentleman that I gave the keys to. So I wasn't.
Is that true, ma'am? You expected him to hop a fence?
No, he had his number to call him and tell him to come out.
Okay.
She told me to hop the fence.
You told him to hop the fence?
No, the cop wrote down my friend's number.
Did you tell him to hop the fence? Okay. She said she didn't tell you that.
Like
I'm not going to hop a fence, Your Honor. I wasn't going to hop the fence.
She said she never said that.
I don't have a key to that apartment, so how would I have got in?
The cop was supposed to give him the number of the gentleman.
The cop was supposed to give him the number?
Because,
how did you communicate with him about your car?
No, okay, so the night that I got arrested, I told the cop, because I told him he was going to take my car and drop it off. So I wrote down a phone number, and the cop said he was going to give it to him so that he can get in contact with him and go drop off my car, because I was trusting him to take it so that it wouldn't get towed.
So why wouldn't you get a number to him?
I was in the cop car, and he asked me for the number.
Okay, you were in the car. Got it.
So he wrote it down. He was supposed to give it to him. After they took me, I don't know what the cop did, if he gave him the phone number or not, but I wouldn't have him hop a fence.
What did you tell him?
I told him to go drop off the car and that he would call him when he got there and tell him to come out.
So you told him to call when you get there?
Yeah, I told him to call my friend so that he can come out and get the keys from him.
Go ahead, sir. What happened?
So Des hit me up about some tacos. I'm always down for
I got that part. You get to the place and you got to jump the wall. Did you go at all?
No.
Or you just concluded
I went to my house. I parked the car. I went to sleep. The girl I was staying with at the time, I seen her like get up, start looking out the shades of the window, things like that. I think I heard her at the countertop where I placed the keys. Then I see her come into the apartment with some items. I looked at those items. I was like, those items don't look like they belong to you. Put them back, because they were Dez's items. I told her to put it back. She told me she was gonna put the items back. Des called me later on talking about she found somebody's lingerie, this, that, and the third. That wasn't me.
She said they took her lingerie?
Something about some lingerie.
Okay, so everybody carries lingerie around. Go ahead.
I guess. So she told me about the lingerie. I told her I just dropped
I guess they sleep a lot?
I guess so. I mean,
all right,
yeah.
gotta have that lingerie with you, Doc. You might fall asleep at any moment. All right, I guess that's the purpose, right? Go ahead.
But you see, she got a problem with numbers, Your Honor, so I didn't get a phone
That's
number.
right, you got that right. So you didn't get what?
I did not get a number, and if that would have made the situation a lot smoother.
You trusted the police to give it to you. What items were stolen, allegedly, ma'am?
Okay, so if I can just go back and just say that the lingerie was in my trunk because, like I said, I had just moved into my place and I still hadn't finished like unpacking. And I had, like he mentioned, I was a dancer, yeah. And so I have a lot of lingerie and I hadn't finished unpacking. So I had duffel bags. I had a lot of stuff. I had shoes and stuff in my trunk. And so it's not like I was just driving around with lingerie in my trunk. And
you were?
Huh?
Wait a minute, it wasn't like you was driving around with lingerie in your truck. You weren't. You just told me you were. What are you talking about? You weren't driving. Well, you were. You just told me. And you told me I do because I'm a stripper. That's what you just said. What are you talking about?
It wasn't like I was supposed to be driving around all the time.
I don't know what you were supposed to be doing. You drive around with lingerie in the trunk, and indeed you are a stripper. So let's move on, ma'am.
Okay.
I don't know how you want to pretty it up. I don't know how to make it any prettier.
Okay, so
don't be ashamed.
No, you're right. You're definitely right. So my stuff was missing. I asked Eric. He says that he has no idea.
What items?
So if you
have a list?
Yeah, if you look in the evidence, it's pages 1 through 16.
1 through 15?
16. So
16.
Those are all the receipts, and they're like specific items that were missing. And I know what I have, you know, and I keep all my receipts. I work hard for my stuff. I've always had my stuff stolen. And now that I'm able to afford, you know, buying the stuff that I want and knowing that it's not going to get taken from being in group homes and foster homes, I hadn't finished unpacking. So I had duffel bags. I had a lot of stuff. I had shoes and stuff in my trunk. And so it's not like I was just driving around with lingerie in my trunk. And
you were?
Huh?
Wait a minute, it wasn't like you was driving around with lingerie in your truck. You weren't. You just told me you were. What are you talking about? You weren't driving. Well, you were. You just told me.
Plaintiff Desiree Rodriguez says after growing up in foster care, she became a cosmetologist. But the defendant insists Desiree is a stripper.
Ma'am?
So it gets weird because, like, my underwear were missing, like, my personal, you know, like, not my dancing stuff, like, my underwear. And I had...
You had a freak on your hand.
And I told Eric, I'm like...
I'm sorry, sir.
I told Eric, I'm like, there's even underwear missing, like...
His girlfriend took
like,
right.
I was like, it's not just gonna walk away. Like, what happened to my underwear?
Everybody got their own thing. Everybody got their own thing. Your woman's, I got to do whatever with your woman's underwear. If that's her thing, that's her thing. Let her have them. Then just go and do your thing. Get your kicks.
So that's what I found weird.
You might have gotten the kicks off your underwear, ma'am. Be nice.
That's what I was thinking.
Isn't that worth giving somebody some kicks? That little pair of underwear.
I feel like,
$15 pair of underwear, and she gets the kicks of her life. Let that woman have that underwear.
Honestly, I just wasn't sure if, like, he kept them for...
Well, I'm telling you what happened now. You might not know the game. I see you don't know nothing. You're naive.
But I was thinking he took it to, like, a voodoo doctor and was trying to put, like, a love spell on. I don't know. You need personal items of a person.
I'm telling you, ma'am. You're getting her kicks.
When I asked him about them, he said he was wearing them. So that's also in my evidence.
Yes, I told you she was getting her kicks. Put these on. Now walk around.
So... If you look at...
Throw your muscles up in the air with them things on. You gain no thong? Cut it into a thong. Cut that part off. Did she make you eat the edges off?
The edges?
You find this too funny. You don't find it funny, so I apologize if it offends you. But I'm just cordial.
If that's his thing, that's his thing. I don't know. I didn't want to get too into that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he picked up maybe a stripper job as well. I mean, I don't know.
He strips too?
He might if he took my underwear and he probably kept the lingerie. I don't know what kind of side thing he had going on.
Your Honor, I don't know who was having fun with the underwear, but it wasn't me. You know what I mean? She had a lot of friends in that car.
Let's move on. We've had enough fun with this.
So if you look at page 18 of my evidence, I told him that's weird that even my underwear were missing, and he says,
you did mention that.
Yeah, and he says he wore them. And,
no.
Yes.
What page?
18.
What happened to my underwear? I got them. I kept them. See you soon. Because she says that's weird. Even underwear were missing. I wore them.
That's got to be photoshopped, Your Honor.
No, these were all from you.
So why would you wear them? I'm ready to be an adult, but this is just my thing.
And then
everybody got their own thing.
So then it continues on page 19 where he starts mentioning other things like, I want to be your man, I want to hold you down. And I'm just like, you better still have my clothes. Like, I don't want new ones. I want my clothes. Not the lingerie. He could keep those because I don't know where they've been at that point. But I wanted my clothes back because
I got you, ma'am. Sir, what do you say about this? You say your friend stole it, but you had custody of these items. You had taken custody voluntarily from her, and you had a duty then to make sure that they were safe.
I mean, she has a lot of friends in that car. It could have been possibly one of them. I didn't have no fun in no underwear. I don't know who had the underwear, but
you said, you're the one that told me your friend, the lady friend that you had with you, took some of the things.
I seen a few of the items, but I mean, it was
So
just
why don't you think you should be responsible for those few items?
It wasn't me, Your Honor.
I know it was her, but you had custody of her property, and you allowed someone access in a way in which they could rip her off. You had the ability to fulfill, or try at least to fulfill, her request to take it to a place she felt it was safe, and instead you took it somewhere else because it was convenient to you. You have to do what you're going to do with someone's property. You can't do something else with it because they might not feel comfortable. She might not have felt comfortable putting it at your place because she might know that you are a stripper fiend and that you're probably gonna let a stripper in the car with you. So take my car directly to my buddies, because I know you'll be tricking all night in my car at that. And you might even be wearing my panties. And you were right about that.
Yeah, he even said it himself.
Plaintiff Desiree Rodriguez says after growing up in foster care, she became a cosmetologist. But the defendant insists Desiree is a stripper.
What's your counterclaim for, sir? How did she harass you 1,000?
I mean, just by saying these claims, you know, I feel like that's harassment right there. These claims that somebody took her stuff, that her things are missing.
You admitted some of it was.
I mean, I seen a few items. I don't know the list. I haven't seen the list.
How do you know if you weren't, you said you were sleeping, right? And you seen that she had some of the items that you knew weren't hers.
But you have friends in the car.
Ma'am, you know that your friend who you gave access to her property took some of it. You know that for a fact. You said you saw it.
Correct.
Okay, so why shouldn't you be responsible for the things that were taken that you know your friend took when you gave your friend access to her property that she instructed you to take and put in a safe place?
You had one job.
Your Honor, I wasn't having fun with the lingerie. I don't know who was, but that person could have took some items. That's all I'm saying.
No, you know somebody took items, and that's the person you gave access to. The $1,000 because she's asking for her money is dismissed. That's exactly what she's supposed to do. $978 stolen property is granted. If that person took some that you saw, that person is more likely than not to have taken all of it. And therefore, I'm going to grant her judgment. Have a good day.
I'm just glad that we finally got this taken care of, because I'm honestly tired of you messaging me weird things all the time. And, you know, I just wanted you to make things right and pay me what was owed to me. You admitted it, and you just didn't want to pay. You were taking it as a joke. And I told you I was going to make a claim, and now we're here.
Desiree's a good mom, you know, and I hope she's at peace with the decision.
I hope you're at peace with the decision. I mean, things are finally made right.